Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Two Tired Parents podcast. I'm Miles Weber.
I'm Heather Weber.
And we are tired.
Yeah.
We're tired today, right? I mean, like every day. That's
Don't
just
ask me that.
I mean, like there's some days where we're just like, okay, today's not as bad, but that's usually like before noon, and it's not that.
Then before pregnancy?
Well, yeah, I haven't been that yet. So I mean, like, yeah.
Yet?
I mean, you don't
holding out
know
hope?
you don't know what's gonna happen. You never know. You never know. Never say never.
It's going to be an interesting vasectomy.
Oh God, I know. We're not looking forward to that. Let's not talk about it. But it'll be a thing that happens eventually. But we're very excited to introduce our guests today. That was fun to say. Guests today.
All the S's.
Our guests today are coming in right now, digitally, virtually, if you will. One of them is a very fantastic comedian and a longtime friend of mine. He is absolutely hilarious. He has 2 dry bar comedy specials and tours all over, not just the country, but also the seas on cruise ships. Not unlike myself. Well, kind of unlike myself. He does not work for Carnival. He's definitely a step above, at least, bare minimum. But I would like to introduce you all to my good friend Heath Harmison and his lovely wife, Molly. Yay! So, hello, guys. Hello. Thanks for joining us.
Hi. How are you?
We are fantastic. And we are also 2 tired parents. How are y'all?
As you can see, the bag's under my eyes. Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Well, y'all have been working a lot, man. I know that. That's been a for sure. You've been just going around the globe doing the dang thing, man, making that thing happen. So, but you're on a little short break right now. How long are you home for this stretch?
This is a long one. I'm home for 4 days.
Ooh, look at you.
Really, and we have our anniversary tomorrow, so I did it in good timing.
Yeah.
Yes. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, y'all.
Thanks.
How many years?
21. We can drink.
Your marriage can drink.
Marriage can drink.
That's an exciting time. Right on. Yeah. No, leave it all out on the field for the anniversary for that one then. We do like to start things off because this is a fun question that we think we like hearing parents' responses because it's been pretty consistent so far. So we're going to see if y'all are on the same page. When was the last time that you were bored?
Well,
I mean, I have more time to be bored
That's true.
than she does.
This is true.
Doing the cruise ships, you get bored.
You do.
Especially I don't know how it is on Carnival, but I was just on a ship, did a show. I was on 7 days, did my first show, the first night, the welcome aboard.
Yeah.
And then the last night of the cruise, I did a late night adult show. That was it.
Nothing in between.
For 7 days.
Wow.
It was a lot of sitting around, I try to go to the gym. I try to, write and do things and use the time.
Even like trying to do something productive though, when you're on the ship is a weird feeling. Cause I was just on one a couple weeks ago and I had like books to read and work to get done and things like that. And even trying to do that, you're just like, okay, I can't be in this room staring at this. And it's too distracting to try and like read something out around the people because you get talked to. And so I'm like, okay, what do I do here? I guess I'll just listen to music and walk around. And so, yeah, it is a very weird situation to be in where you do find yourself being bored sometimes.
I want to be bored.
Yeah. I know.
I want to be bored so bad.
I would have to say the last time I was bored, maybe middle school. I honestly don't know. Like I was really active in high school and did a bunch of stuff. And then I met him right out of high school. We got married. I worked like crazy because he was to have a real good fun time in college.
What does that even mean?
He was a mascot.
I had a scholarship for school.
Basically, it took up a lot of his time, but there was no money. The scholarship was $250.
It was $350 plus books.
Yeah, and then I got pregnant, had kids, and then you know how that goes.
Yeah.
After that. So,
Okay.
Yeah, you're just not bored at all.
Middle school. Yeah, like probably summer break?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the last time.
That seems accurate.
Yeah,
actually.
because we
Yeah.
think that.
Sorry, she also lived in a town of 300 people, so there wasn't a lot going on,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
That is a cesspool of boredom right there. That is this like, well, I've gone to the store that we have and talked to most of the people. So, all right, I guess I'll go fishing again. Yeah, that's a breeding ground for boredom. We
Yeah.
think that boredom is very much a single person's game. Like once you're a parent, I think the boredom side of things doesn't kick around probably until they're like grown. I mean, I would think. I'm purely.
I don't even know then. Like, Preston's going to college in 2 weeks or less, and Zoe starts her junior year of high school, and it just seems to never stop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But too, I think part of it for me, my dad is like, I learned from him, like he doesn't sit still. And so there's probably opportunities that I could be bored now with our kids being older and basically independent, but I just don't know how. I don't know how to do that. And that's on me because I probably could
That's
be
fair.
bored
Yeah.
at this.
That's fair. But I mean, especially, I feel like even with older kids, you've almost been programmed to go, go, go. And so it's like, even if they can do those things, you're like, yeah, but for 16 years or, 20 years, I've been doing it this way. And so, yeah.
Or you also have you have a running list from since I don't know, 2006. And so it's just like, oh, I have some time. Let's go to that list of to-dos that I just never get to.
I feel that. I feel that so hard.
Yeah, because you got enough lists.
I have all the lists.
Yeah.
Look at
Yours.
that.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah. You got a
lister,
list.
too.
Yeah.
So many
wholeheartedly.
lists. Lists for the house, lists for kids, lists
Yep.
for us, like just lists for everything.
A list for me to make
Yeah.
sure that I don't die sooner than I'm supposed to. So yeah, she knows what vitamins I'm deficient in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
I just went and got a whole series of tests done to figure out all the genetic testing, and I'm on all the vitamins, but I have a packet that I have. This is my daily thing. It's all in the one thing, and I have all the vitamins that I take in that day.
There you go.
It's pretty insane.
Maybe I'll just
we're
put all
old,
yours
but
in a
that's-
little Ziploc baggie. Like, here's your morning packet. Here's your night packet.
No, I mean, like, it's already in one of those
I try.
Sunday to Saturday
I
things.
try to make it as easy as
I have one of
possible.
those already, man. So yeah, and it's still just like, oh yeah, I didn't take that today. So let me get back into that.
Yeah, you bring up a good point though, too. Like with the lists, it kind of shows that even if you're technically sitting, you could be bored. My mind is not, Like I was really, really, really busy last year. I bought my salon in September of last year, so almost a year ago. And then I directed a play, kind of simultaneously. And then we moved, and then our son graduated. And so come end of May, things finally simmered down. But my mind did not catch up with the let's relax until probably beginning of July. It was just still racing.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much. For me, it's like the worst thing, and especially pregnant, like I'll get up at 1 a.m, go pee, and then try and lay back down. And I'm like, well, now I'm planning out my year. Like, I won't even say day, like year. So I guess that's what I'm doing at 1 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The racing thoughts, they never stop.
No.
I'm telling you, man. So I mean, yeah, you guys both work a lot. Like, I mean, Heath, what age did you start doing stand up? How old were you?
Let's see. It was 2004.
Okay.
So what was it? 2004. Was it
21?
21-ish? Yeah.
22?
22, yeah. But I mean, when you say started, like my first time ever attempting stand-up comedy was at an open mic at my college, and did that open mic, and it wasn't even like a comedy open mic. It was like guys writing poetry and music. And all that
Oh,
kind
those
of
are
stuff,
so
right?
much fun to do stand up on.
In fact, I was the only stand-up.
Oh.
They have never, because when I went to the guy, I was like, hey, I want to try this. And he's like, oh, man, we've never had that. That'd be great. Go ahead. I'm like, okay, cool. How does it work? How much time should I do? He's like, whatever. I'm like, okay. So I go up and I do 20 minutes. Like,
Wow.
listen, it was a lot of setup, man. And because I've always been like a storyteller type, right? So there's no real like solid punchlines or anything like that. But they were laughing enough to make me want to go back the next week. Went back the next week, did a different 20 minutes with different stories. And in that audience, giving you a rundown real quick. The guy that booked entertainment for the school was in the audience, came up to me after and said, hey, would you like to do a show for the school? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, we'll pay you $300. I'm like, well, yeah, we're newly married. We have no money. I'm like, you're going to pay me $300 to tell jokes? And he's like, yeah, we'll do it in a couple weeks. We'll put you in the Fine Arts Auditorium, which is a 1,000-seat theater. We'll advertise it to the school and the community, all that stuff. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, how much time do you want me to do? He's like, oh, just an hour. Yeah. So inside, I know I have no business doing this. Like, there's no way, right? Like, any stand-up that you talk to that is seasoned is like, what are you doing? Like, no, that is not okay. You don't do that after a couple years doing this. Like, that's crazy. So I'm like, all right, I got a couple weeks. I got a couple more stories I could fill. I already know I could do 40 minutes, or I can be up there for 40 minutes. So I go to it the next week. They cancel because nobody showed up. Like, nobody, like, it was just empty. And then I'm like, oh, no. Okay, so I got one more week. So I go there. They cancel it again. So my third time ever performing stand-up comedy is in a 1,000-seat theater. 800 people show up. And I am backstage nervous, as I should be, because again, no business doing what I'm doing. I go up there. I did an hour. I was up there for an hour and was talking. And it didn't go terrible enough for me to want to completely just stop. In fact, I changed my whole major. I was going to be a nurse, and changed my whole major and to business because I was like, oh, I'll open up a comedy club or something. Oh, I like this world, I didn't think I could actually make real money telling jokes. So
$300 for you was real money at the
time.
time.
That was real money at the time, not knowing that these schools actually pay the comedians a lot more than that.
So much more.
Oh yeah, you got ripped off.
Yeah, you got hosed, man.
No, I can't even say I got ripped off because I didn't have any business doing it. So
it's like before, the more you know, the more you don't know. So we knew nothing. The town of people knew nothing. It's not like they watched stand-up comedy. So this was entertaining for them, and it was something to do. And so, like, we all walk away thinking, like, wow, you're going to be, like, famous. You should just go for this.
Well, there's a certain amount of like unawareness you need to have in the start anyway, right? Otherwise, if you knew how bad it was, sometimes you just wouldn't go back, right? Sometimes you got these blinders on that it went better than it did, or you're better than you are in the beginning, right? And sometimes those blinders never come off for some people, but like,
well, I think that's called the Dunning-Kruger effect, I want to say, where the more you know, the less confident you actually become. Because that's why, like, stupid people think, I'll just do this thing. Yeah, it's where I see people do it all the time. Who cares? And so their ceiling for, like, oh, how can this actually be done is so low. Mm-hmm. And so they don't understand just the depths of, like, oh, it goes to infinity, the levels of this game and everything. And so, it is kind of like good to have the ignorance of youth behind you just to be like, all right, I'm just going to do, sure. I guess this is what happens now. Now I get famous and we keep going. And then it gets to a point where you're like, well, I've gone too far now.
Yeah. So it was an experience. It was my first time doing crowd work because My dad was my very first heckler on accident.
What?
He was, so in the theater, there's a bunch of seats in the front, then there's a huge gap, and then more seating that goes up, right, in this theater. My dad is in the middle part, and I just see this bald dude pacing and dry heaving in the back of the room. He's so nervous for me that he's in the back. You just hear this. Like, I'm like, Dad, sit down. What are you doing? You can't be dry heaving. I'm trying to tell jokes, So, yeah. So I dealt with that and had some proud work moments even.
Yeah.
Molly, you were around for this? Yeah? Like, because you said you guys had just gotten married, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. I married a nurse, or a would-be nurse, and less than a year in, he decided he was going to be a comedian.
What are you gonna do when you find your calling?
Oh, yeah. But Molly, what's your thoughts on when that went down that way? Like, were you like overtly supportive? Did you have to have a little support group with your small town just to be like, I don't know if this is going to work out? Like,
well, I had the ignorance as well. Like, I just saw him up there and people were laughing. So I was like, and honestly, sure, he was not anything near like professional then, but there was something about it like that. When I saw it, I was like, yeah, you should go for this, So he's always been funny. He's always had enough, like even at the beginning, he was funny enough that I was like, man, you should really go for this. And also, he's never given me a reason to not, like, he's always just worked so hard that has never been a time where I'm like, so nothing's really moving with this, maybe we should look at something else. He's just always worked hard with it. So it's like, if you're working hard and things are coming a bit, like, who wouldn't be supportive? Like, obviously it does, as y'all know, like, it does take a certain type of person, certain type of couple to be able to do this.
Yeah.
Right. And so, of course, I have attributes, I guess, that like are either just like I'm crazy enough, but supportive enough or whatever. But really, the biggest thing is that he never gave me a reason to doubt it.
I love that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, and there was times it was hard. Like, she worked her ass off. Can we? I don't know what
Yep. You're
say
good.
whatever you want, man.
So yeah, she worked her ass off.
Yeah.
She supported us for a couple of years so that I could.
10.
A while. It was a while. What was it?
Who's counting?
But it was.
Who's counting besides her?
Oh, all right. Listen, it wasn't that bad for that long. Anyway, but I mean, the first 4 years, I was working, I was working doing. Delivering uniforms, things like that. Working for, it was called the Ameripride. It's like Cintas or whatever. And I was doing that. And that was like, honestly, the best thing that happened to me is I got fired from that job. I worked there for, 3 years, and I've been doing stand-up, and because my pretty regular schedule was waking up at 4 a.m., working till like 3 or 4, going home, seeing her and the kids for a few minutes, eat some food. The kid, yeah. And then going to an open mic, going out and being out till like 11, 12 at night, and then doing it all over again. So I wasn't getting sleep, but I was like, I really wanted this comedy thing to work, right?
Well, and at the time, he was studying business. He was also doing school online. So it was like, we were like, oh, let's study business because maybe we'll open a comedy club. Like, we wanted something that was like, okay, plan A, plan B, and so that was kind of, you were in school online also.
Yeah. And then realized I didn't want to be a restaurant or bar owner. Yeah. So, and that's basically what you
Understandable.
Are. Yeah. So I don't want to work 80 hours a week running a venue. So, and then dealing with divas, like us.
Like you.
But yeah, you don't want to deal with that. But anyways, I worked that job. It was a good job. I mean, as far as, I got paid, and I had insurance, which was also nice.
Oh, what's that like?
I know,
Literally
right?
the only time Well, like
real insurance
from
that we weren't paying for.
Yeah.
Well, but get fired.
Well, it was during the recession. It was 2009, so he got like fired a month before he was like vested, and so it was a little bit interesting. Like
I was wrongfully fired for sure.
Yeah, like his grandpa passed away. We went to the funeral. He comes back from the funeral, and they had found all these discrepancies that he had done and let him go.
When she says discrepancies, they're like they had to like. We're talking buttons on uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
When I found out my grandfather died, I was working, and I told my boss, "Hey, my grandpa just died. I need to go home as soon as I can." He's like, "Yeah, just get done, with your work quick, get out of here." He was being super cool about it, right? But then I was gone for like a week or 5 days or something like that for the funeral and all that stuff. And our regional manager ran my route, and when I left, I had like 3 or 4 repair shirts that didn't have buttons. You put them in a bag, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to deal with this when I get back, right? Put it in a spot. They found those and thought I should be fired for not dealing with 4 shirts. And not only that, I got employee of the month before I got fired. And also, there's a huge company called Darling International. They pick up roadkill off the road. They're it's a big business.
What is it?
Darling.
I know, Darling. It smelled so bad. But one of their biggest accounts, the dude that I was working with, he's like, if you were ever fired or gone, or not fired, he's like, if you ever leave, we're quitting this company. You're the only one that's come in here and done the job. And the moment he found out I was fired, he came to one of my shows, and he's like, yeah, we quit him. We fired him and got a new company. He's like, no, he's like, your boss came in to try and do it when they let you go, could not do it. And I'm like, okay. So anyways, my boss even as he's firing me, he's like, and I actually, here's a card for a pool company. If you can put me down as a reference. I'm like, you want me to put the guy who's actively firing me as a reference for another job? What is going on here? Anyway, so it's super crazy. I go home. I'm crying. I'm a mess. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be doing this, because she looked at me and she's just like, you know what? This sucks. But honestly, I've seen what you've been doing on stage and the work you've been putting in. You've been going on the road a little bit. You've got some contacts. If there's not a time to try and do this, it's now. Just go after it. So she pushed me to do this, and we haven't looked back since. So
gotta love those signs, or like we've been talking about, like you never know what the catalyst is going to be for things.
Yeah, we talked about that recently, where some people get salty about folks saying like, "Oh, well, everything happens for a reason," and so it's like, well, what an insensitive thing to say to somebody who's been through something traumatic or really challenging. And to that, I'm just like, well, how about you rephrase it like, you can't pick your catalysts in life. Because you don't get to pick what's going to be the thing that launches you and forces you into becoming the next better version of yourself, or doing that thing that you inevitably should be doing with your time. That was your calling. And so, you don't get to pick your catalyst, man, but it sounds like, you definitely landed that one as far as like, oh, that was the best thing that happened to me, was losing that job. And what perspective?
Yeah, I really was. Well, and for me, like when I got the call, when he called me that had gone down, like, in a strange way, I felt such relief, because he was, he really had kind of, for lack of a better description, like kind of turned into a bit of a zombie, in the sense that it just was like, he wasn't fulfilled. He wasn't, and it just a different person. So to me, I was like, it was oddly reassuring, or oddly like comforting, when that job was no more. Because it would be a really hard thing to give up. Like I said, like it might seem like a small thing to some, but the idea of like, okay, we now at this point have 2 kids. And so for you to just go chase your dream with 2 kids, when you have a job that's giving you health insurance that, pays decent money, like, I don't know when we would have jumped into that, to be honest, And so it literally is something, like you said, that was a catalyst because it was just like, well, like nothing right now. It's a recession. Nothing right now is going to pay you what you were making. So we might as well just go for this. And, it just really was the right time for it.
I love that.
Love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I know like the kids are involved in like some of your content and theater and everything like that. At what age did your kids start getting involved with either like comedy or the acting side of things?
I mean, Preston was 6 when that was his first real performing moment, right? Was that?
Yeah, I think so. Zoe was a dancer at like age 3, so
Yeah.
she was kind of into it in that way. But Preston was 6 when he did his first stand-up set.
It's 3 minutes. He didn't do 20.
Rookie.
Yeah. It's like, I did 20. You can do 3. Okay, you're 6 years old. Grow up. But yeah, the crowd went nuts, and he got a standing ovation, and then I had to follow him, and that was terrible. So, I was crying backstage, like in happiness. I was so proud of him. Like, I still think about it, I get welled up. And honestly, it's just kind of grown over the years because he's had so many moments. And you'll find this with your own kids. Like, you've already had your moments where you're proud of them and they do things that you're like, oh my gosh, your little guy's growing so freaking fast, you guys. Like, every time I see a new video, I'm like, oh my gosh, this kid.
Yeah.
But really cute kid. You got another cute one coming soon. It's still cooking, but that's coming. But like, gosh, the amount of pride you get over when your kid does something amazing. It's just, and I try not to have the goggles, right? Because I'm an entertainer. I don't want to set him up for failure by telling him things that aren't real, right? Like, I'm not gonna fill him full of fake. Like, if he wasn't good, I'm gonna be like, well, it was all right, but here's some parts where you can grow. Here, I always try and tell him all the stuff that's good. Obviously, I don't just shit all over him and be like, that sucked. But yeah, he's had a lot of growing moments. And stand up, as you know, Miles, is really like, you're raw up there. Like, it's and the audience doesn't care about your feelings.
No.
So it's he jumped in the deep end when he started doing stand up.
Yeah, but he was little and cute, so
it did help. The cute
it worked
factor
for a
did
while.
help. Then puberty came. Puberty kind of got him.
I want to say we did a show in Idaho together where he opened, and I think that's when it was the time when the voice was cracking and everything, and we were in the back just like, oh man, poor guy. He went through that really awkward phase for a bit, and honestly, he's super talented kid, and he's going off. He's doing the performance arts and at BSU. He's doing his first semester there, or Boise State. Sorry, yeah. So he's going to do the theater program there. He's singer, actor. He dances now, which is, I never thought he'd be dancing well, because he was clunky feet. He had like in the beginning, but then he learned and he was actually really good. So he just continually getting better and better and better, and he's way more talented than I am at this point. Like, I think he's really going to do something. So, same with my daughter. I don't know. I'm super proud of my kids. They're good people, and I'm not worried about their future at all. I really think they're going to do some great things.
I love that. That's amazing, and it's a beautiful thing. We're in this weird spot because when Robin gets to go to Miles's show now, like, Robin gets mad if Miles doesn't bring him on stage at the end.
Yeah.
It's like
it's expected now.
Yeah.
He's like, can I go tell a joke? Yeah, we were doing a show in Southern California and it was late, so it's super past his bedtime, and I could see in the back he was on her lap like dozing, and he was just like kind of KO'd. I was like, all right, let's just drop it. And I'll just close the show out. As soon as he heard me close that show out and everybody clapped, he was woke up mad, just like, and I'm like, okay, encore, everybody, hold on, sit back down, encore, come up here, kiddo. And he gets so flustered that he forgot the joke, so I had to feed him one in his ear. But yeah, now he's got like 3 or 4.
He's got like 3 or 4 jokes memorized.
Yeah, memorized that he'll tell. But man, it's already, I could see it happening so soon that he's just like, as soon as they all laugh, he's just like, oh, like he gets so bright eyed and everything. And he's been asking questions about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. He's either going to do that or box.
He's going to want to do it?
He might.
Think that he's going to want to do it?
I mean, it's hard, man, because I mean, like, I want him to do whatever he's passionate about. I think that's the thing that I have a rub with, is like, I don't want him to get into something just because dad does it. You know, I mean, I want him to get into something because he's really, really passionate about it, and it really like excites him. It gets his juices flowing. He likes doing whatever the thing is for people that makes them happy, that also makes them happy. So if it ends up being that thing genuinely, I want to support him 100%. Absolutely. You know, but I think right now it's just kind of like the rose tinted glasses of like, well, dad does it. And it's really cool that dad does it. And so as much as I appreciate it, you know, I look forward to when we can actually iron down like him being like, no, I really, really actually like doing this.
Yeah.
You
But
know?
and he's been in dance for a couple months as well, and so he's been on stage with dance shows, and he wants to be on stage. Whatever he does in life, it will be in front of hella people.
Wrestling commentary could be, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be calling color commentary for pro wrestling. Who knows? Like any of these things would be good.
Yeah, you guys like the wrestling and stuff, which is super cool. I like those videos. Him watching the wrestling with you guys. And stuff.
Yeah. He'll commentary our whole day, everything he's doing. He wants you to do commentary on things, and so whatever he does, like this kid is meant to be in the spotlight. And I mean, when it's around adults, he loves it. Like center of attention. Kids, he's very skittish of like coming into his own right now, but adults, he's like, nope, I will take all the attention that you will give me.
Yeah, it's a wrap when he's around adults. He knows how to ham it up.
Yeah, that actually like is how Preston was actually, you know, because like he's always kind of had a bit of an old soul. He's always jived with adults. It's always like, yep, put me on stage. It's funny because I was kind of laughing as Heath was asking you, do you think he's going to want to do it? Because I remember that's a question people would ask us all the time about Preston, because he did the same thing. Like he would get up and do it sometimes and stuff. And literally giving almost verbatim like the answer that you're saying, Miles, that it's just like, you know, it's like you don't want them to just do it just because they see you do it. Yeah. And I remember like pretty early on us having this discussion that it's like, let's show them all these options, and then like whatever they're coming to us about and getting excited about, that's what we'll pursue, you know. And for Preston, he did stand up first because that's, you know, what was set up for him. You know, it actually came about. I was in a pageant and we were doing a fundraiser show for the pageant, and Heath was performing, and Preston just came up to him and was like, hey, I want to be a part of this, you know, at 6 years old. So we're like, sure, dude, like, let's do it. But always with that in mind, that it's like, look into all kinds of stuff, because don't do this just because this is what's in front of you. And so like for him, he loves to sing, and he's a phenomenal singer. And so that's why he's really kind of pushed more towards like the theater world, because that's an opportunity for his voice, or to use his voice. But he also was in a band for a little while, which I think was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I'm like, that's really cool.
He definitely has rock star energy when he's up there. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this kid could be a sex symbol. Yeah.
What? I'm like, yeah. And then
she's like, wait, what did I just agree to? She's like, cut that out. I didn't agree.
Right. I mean, whatever, to each his own. Yeah. But the interesting thing is that like Zoe doesn't want much to do with it, you know? Yeah. And I think there's been this interesting thing we dealt with in our family, in like, as much as we support that, it's like, don't be on stage, don't do it, like, find where you want to be. It's this really interesting point of separation, maybe is the right word, that she feels that it's like she's so talented in the things she's interested in. She's also so talented on stage, which is interesting.
So good at improv, like so good at improv comedy.
Yeah, like just so witty. She's the most naturally funny of our family. But like this thing where you can tell them all day long, like, no, don't pursue this then. But there's this thing we've dealt with where she feels on the out, even when we're like, no, you don't have to be like us, you know? And we're still figuring that part out, because she doesn't want, like, she doesn't have an interest in it at this point, or maybe ever. But it's almost like, even in us supporting that she doesn't have an interest, that there's a weird, it's weird.
Yeah.
Because she almost like does but doesn't want to, you know? So you just write it. I'm like, whatever you want to do. And they have to figure it out, that it's like, I'm still really important. What I do is still really important, even if it's not like what dad does, what mom does, what my brother does.
Yeah.
You know? And that's just going to come, I think, with age, hopefully, because we definitely speak those words and try and create a space for that.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's so hard to figure out what you want to do in that space when you're still trying to figure out who you are as a person, you know, and so much about being a teenager or even a young adult is just like, who am I and what am I doing? What's my motivation? Like, what is all of this? And so I think it's just so hard to hitch yourself to, you know, all right, this is the thing. So who knows? Maybe she comes back to it later in life. And it's just like, okay, well, this was a thing that I was always kind of naturally good at. So maybe that's what I need to stop fighting it and get into it. And then she finds a passion for it, or maybe goes the other way. Who knows? But it's great that you guys are, you know, encouraging that. We hope to do the same with our kids.
Well, and I think it's interesting in that light, because I can kind of understand some of it where, like, I mean, granted, right now I'm in front of a microphone and a camera, but I've never had any interest to like be on stage or do those things.
Oh, yeah.
But I have, because I get it. I've taken the interest in like, oh, I'd love to like manage or agent, or like you have the eye for it but don't want to do it and can help others get there type of thing.
Yeah.
And so that could even be, you know, a route for her later too, of like she gets to utilize the gift of understanding it, which a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
And so if you do get it and have the eye for it, you know, there's something that can be done with that as well, if she even wanted to. But so there's options not in front of the camera.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And now that the kids are a bit older, because I mean, like, they're late teens now. Yeah, that's what they're.
We have
18 and 16.
18 and 16. Zoe turns 17 next month, and Preston will be 19 in November. So
Okay. Yeah, man. How has the parenting dynamic changed now that they're older versus when they were younger?
Oh,
well, the world is way different than when we grew up. Right?
It is.
It's I mean, just the amount of the phones and the social media and like, how much do you give them with that? How much do you like, where you want them to also have their freedom? You want them to have feel like they can speak their own voice and do all that stuff, so there's a hard balance these days, and because there's a lot of danger out there too. Right? There's a lot of danger out there, and we've ran into a few of those things, bullying, online bullying. I mean, I used to say, like, we used to get bullied to our faces, and you deal with it then at school or wherever, but it's not just the people within earshot seeing you get bullied now.
Yeah.
It's everybody.
Yeah.
So, and these kids, I've seen some stuff that I'm just like, holy shit, this is some dark stuff. These kids have no problem telling someone to kill themselves these days. And that is insane to me.
Yeah.
I have never once thought that in my brain, to tell somebody that.
Yeah.
And their kids, no problem.
yeah.
And it's such an impressionable age too, and so they don't know like to not take that to heart. Like it's
Things feel like it's forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
You
personal.
get those,
It's forever.
yeah, the big feelings. The first time you experience major, like, adversarialness, if that's a word for this. I mean, you experience something like that where somebody's kind of telling you something, but I mean, also like faceless behind a keyboard, I mean, that's, I think, the anonymity of so much of it. People are just really ballsy when there's not a person directly in front of you, like an actual standing human being. And so, yeah, to speak to what you're talking about, like, yeah, people have found it within themselves to, like, something that I feel like when we were kids was just a thought that might kind of fall out of our head after a few minutes gets put out on social media or sent to somebody. And it's like, can't take that back now. It's out there, man. Like, whereas we just probably been like, okay, let me just shrug this feeling off and move past it. And you end up doing that. But yeah, man, like that's very real. So, I mean, has that been like the bulk of like the things that you've been trying to best navigate now that they're in their teen years? Has that really taken up a lot of the real estate?
I think it's just it's an interesting thing because, like, our kids, when we had our kids, like, the iPad wasn't really out yet. so everything within our kids being like, until they were, I mean, at least like 8 or so, most of that was like, we could be like, well, this is how it was when I was a kid, and I either want to do that or do something different. There was a lot you could base on from like what you experienced as a kid.
Yeah.
But you bring in social media, you bring in, like phones and iPad, like things that are so accessible. And that's a world that we're like, guess what? We don't have our own experiences to go off of. Mm-hmm. And so we've said to our kids, like, we are like blazing a trail through a corn maze with this, because literally we don't have our own experiences. So it's very possible you could come to us as adults and be like, hey, you guys did that wrong. And we're like, guess what? We didn't know. We had statistics aren't out yet, things like that. And so you just navigate in the best way you can. But yeah, like, it's, I would say the toughest thing, because I felt pretty on it as a parent of like babies, toddlers, littles. But then, like, there's this teenage area that I'm just like, I don't know if I'm being a good parent. Like, the question is there a lot. And I just think the best thing that I can do is make sure my kids know that, like, I don't know if I'm doing it right. You know, I think if you hold your parents on this, like, pedestal that, like, they know everything, it's actually to their detriment, because it's just like, if I can tell you that I don't know if I'm doing this right, then you're not necessarily programming that this is the only way to do this. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the saving grace a little bit in it, because to answer your question, actually, yeah, like, it's probably the biggest thing that we navigate is like, what the world is and constantly giving you and is so accessible, what is that doing to your mental and physical health? Like, that's the biggest question, the biggest thing to navigate.
Do you find that there are any parallels between them navigating that aspect of the digital age and y'all being kind of influencers to a degree, being known on social media? Is there a bridge of the gap between like what they're going through and like maybe bad comments on social media and how you feel that? Is there any like juxtaposition with that?
Well, there was actually, like, with my daughter, like I said, she doesn't want to be like in the limelight a lot, but there's certain videos that she will do with me. But there was a point where she's like, hey, Dad, will you not tag me in this video? I'm getting some creepy dudes coming at me. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, I'm not, you're not in any of my videos. So, but like, as far as our following, it was built because of our family and our dynamic with the, with our marriage and the kids and doing all that stuff. And so, yeah, there is this weird balance of us gaining a following after the pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, or during the pandemic, and building this online following that is, I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
I
pretty
think
decent.
I think one of the coolest things it's done though is that it's really brought up opportunities for us to be able to talk and teach about consent. Because, for example, even just with the whole thing of like, do you consent to do this video? You can say no to any video, and we are not. There is no like, oh, come on, oh, that it's just like, oh, do you want to do this or not? Now, if they say they want to do it, they need to like get in, and we need to do it. Like, stop complaining, let's get it done. But like the whole of like, oh, this is taking forever is much different than like, I'm uncomfortable doing this video. So that is like one of the coolest things we've been able to have a very teachable moment with just like, if you can get comfortable with your parent, like being like, I do, I don't. Okay, this is how you have that right in life with every person.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's great because, yeah, I mean, even we have, like a consent book for Robin.
Yeah.
That's like just going over like private parts, but also like personal space and touching and everything like that, and just trying to build that with him at a young age, especially because like he goes to daycare once a week, but just, when he becomes school age and everything, of just what you can and can't do, what people can and can't do, and what you're comfortable with. But even with like friends that come over, would you rather give a hug or a high five? Like, we're never forcing him to give hugs to people if he doesn't want to. And so, yeah, but I agree. Like, if you can build that where they get confident enough to tell family no, then, it definitely gives you more hope that like in public they're like, oh no, this is my comfort level and things.
Well, and he had a good moment yesterday with,
So proud and so
we were so
relieved.
proud of him yesterday. We have this neighbor who's this older Spanish lady in our neighborhood, and she sees us walking our dogs and walking with Robin, and she's like, I'm grandma, call me grandma. Like, and so she's very, very sweet, but she just talks about how cute Robin is. And yesterday when we had him out there with us and the dogs, she was just like, oh, you're so cute. Do you want to just come home with me? And he was like, no. And she's like, oh, why not? And he's like, you're not my parents. And we were like, yeah. That is right, boy. You're damn right. And so we both just kind of like air five, just like, oh, yeah, wonderful, fantastic. Like,
because it has been a concern with how much he trusts and loves adults' attention.
very much so.
Because even we go to parks, he'll start talking to the other kids' parents more than the kids.
Yeah.
And so it's been this weird thing of like, well, I don't want to scare him from talking to people, but I also like want him to know like anybody you don't come here with, you can't leave with.
Yeah.
Like, you don't follow anybody, you don't eat anything from anybody. And so it's, that's been like the instilling. And so it was nice to see it in real time yesterday.
Yeah.
And somebody he's talked to a couple times in our neighborhood of
he's
him
talked to
being
her a
like,
bunch.
no. So it was very a relief.
Yeah.
So.
I think it shows that it's just like consent. It's not, you don't just say no to strangers, right? Like, consent happens for every person every time. Like, that's another thing we said. Like, consent is an every time thing. It's not a one and done, And so it's a really valuable lesson that he's learning, that in the sense that it's just like, sure, this person can be somebody that you like seeing, you like waving to. It can also be somebody that you don't ever want to be alone with, like, and it's just really great to have those communications. And I think it's something we have probably put as the main focus with our family, is just communication. Like, even if it's over communicating, at least it's done basically with the idea that we did joke about it. That's like, we kind of take the novelty out of things, but then they know what they're getting into, It's like, if you explain to them age appropriately, like, what this means, then they can make the choice knowing, okay, I'm not just, I don't just know like the glorified, or I don't like know anything. And so I'm just going to, it's going to seem really exciting or really whatever. It's not meant to take the excitement out of things. It's just like, this is reality, and always leading with safety. That's our main thing. Is just like in any experience, what's the safety factor of this? If we're talking about dating, if we're talking like, about sex, if we're whatever it is we're talking to them about, this is the safety part. Okay, now you can decide if you're ready to do or participate in certain things because X, Y, Z, know?
Well, because we both grew up in families where sex was, there was a lot of shame, guilt, all sorts of stuff attached to it. So there was a lot of stuff as adults we had to break through, like therapy, couples therapy, single therapy, all of it. So we didn't want that for our kids. We didn't want to tell them sex is bad, right? Because sex isn't bad. It's something that it's an adult thing, and those are the kinds of we changed the dialogue, right? From sex is bad, don't do it, or else you're gonna die, or you're gonna get an STD, and you're gonna you're gonna get all the diseases and die. Like that's the fear that we're built on, right? So that doing it different than our parents did it, and not that our parents they weren't trying to do it wrong, they just didn't know any better, right? Like I don't blame my parents for how they raised me. They did a good job, I think. I think I'm a good person, but yeah, there's definitely things we do different than our parents are doing, for sure.
Yeah. Well, and I think that conversation is so important to have. Like not in the sex aspect, but even just like parts of the body at a young age, and like, what's appropriate, with like boys discovering their wieners and like going through like, well, this is when you can do that. This is when you shouldn't. And so
he was sitting on my lap today when I was reading to him, and his hand was down his pants. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm seeing how long my wiener is. And I'm like, stop that. Stop that immediately. That is not okay right now. We're reading we're reading an animal book right now. What is wrong with you? Like, is it because we're reading about the octopus? What is happening?
What are we doing?
It's all the legs.
But and so it is interesting, like navigating, like you said, age appropriate, like because I think that's been a conversation I've had with Miles. Is like, well, I think we're at a point of like talking to him like, if somebody asked to see it, like, and those type of things, that's kind of where we're at with it. And so, yeah, it has to be age appropriate, but I think it's important to start at a young age so it doesn't become like a taboo thing, and then they get nervous to talk to you as parents about it.
That's a big thing.
I remember, so one of the best books I ever read, it's called Untangled, and it's actually it's written by a child psychologist that for teenage girls, but it like applies to teenager in general, I think, but it also applies to just children in general, because one of the most valuable lessons like I learned from it is this idea of safety. She says, lead all your conversations with safety, because everyone wants to be safe. Like you can't just bank that your kids think the same as you, like have the same beliefs as you, any of that. But everyone wants to be safe. And so if that's how you approach a conversation, and that's your foundation, then they will get on the same page with you, because you have the knowledge of how to keep them safe. And so you take shame, you take guilt, all of that out. And it's just like, well, this is the safety side of this. And even talking about like where their brains are at, like that can also fall in that realm of safety, because mental health and like safety for your brain, like when they're younger like that, that's something that you can have those conversations of like, well, this is kind of where you're at with your age, like this is a great thing that you're going to be able to experience all different levels of what is your body. This is kind of where you're at, and we want to keep you safe.
Yeah. I love that.
That was just huge for me. Yeah.
You said it was called
Huge.
Untangled?
Yeah, Untangled.
Another added to my book list.
Add to the book list. Absolutely. Before we go, is there anything about parenting that now that you're in the teen years and everything, is there anything about parenting that, you feel like you learned a valuable lesson from it, or you wish that somebody would have told you early on? Anything stick out?
I don't know. I mean, really, it all comes down, for me, it's all about communication, right? If in any relationship, right, between your marriage, your kids, if you're not communicating with your kid, you're gonna lose them somewhere, right? You're, as far as that connection, right? You're not gonna understand them as much. You're not gonna. There's gonna be misunderstandings, or there's gonna, whatever. If you're constantly trying to communicate with your kids and doing it again, like my mom is a smother. I know what that feels like, and it's not great, so it's balancing not being all up in their business, but also being all up in their business.
Yeah, because she reminds us of a lot of things that we forget too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
For me, I have a lot. Like, obviously, there's a lot, but there's two things that will forever be kind of life changing for me. The first one is when Preston started kindergarten, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, my child is going to be with other people without me, like, there. That is scary. That is weird. And then when Zoe started kindergarten, and then he was in second grade, and so now they're both at school, that was tricky for me. And I really grappled with, like, okay, how are other people's influence on them? Like, what's that going to do? And I just remember processing through that and getting to this place where it just kind of came so clear to me that I'm just like, if I worry about me, or maybe worry shouldn't be the word, but if I focus on me and who I am as a person, what I'm choosing to do, how I'm presenting myself, like me, they're going to be okay. They're going to be okay. Kind of like the you go first thing. So I took that, and like, that was pivotal for me in raising them when they were little and not in my care. And then the second part to that was, as they became teenagers, I had another one of those moments when they're both in high school, and I'm like, okay, like, what if I need them to become good humans that treat people well, and like how do you achieve this? How do you know it's going to happen? ... And again, like, processing through, figuring out, and what came to me was to have this conversation with them where I said, like, your dad and I are doing everything we know to do. And of course, we're going to do things that put you in therapy. Like, that builds character. But, our intention is to be the best parents for you that we can be, and to help you become the best people you can be. But it is on you. Like, that credit is given to you with the amazing human that you're going to become. If you fuck it up, that's also on you. I'm not taking that on. Mm-hmm. So here I am giving it to you. Like, of course, I'm not parenting you anymore. Like, What I'm saying is, I'm releasing the pressure to be on me, that you become a good person. And that was another just like, okay, moment. It's like the first one, I needed to be the one in control to show. And then it's almost like the next one, I needed to give that power to them. Yeah. And day to day, I still sometimes am like, did I screw that up? But at least that's there, that I'm like, they know, they get the credit either way.
But also, it's nice as the parent knowing that you're, when they're little, you're like this. Okay, you're kind of tapping them. This is where you go, this is where you go. But when they get older, it's more like, okay, they're going. Oh, hey, you give your little advice. Just, there you go. All right, we'll see you in a couple weeks. And then,
and then they'll do that for us in the world.
Then they're just going to physically they'll be around, hopefully.
Yeah.
But
I love both of those. And it's funny because with school starting up this month, I'm seeing like a lot of friends where same thing. It's like now both kids are in school and it's almost like that early empty nesters syndrome of now they're both gone with that. But I love that. I feel like when you told them like, well, it's up to you now to be a good person. Like I'm instilling as much as I can, but it's ultimately up to you. I feel like that probably helped open the door more than you realized when it comes to your communication with your kids. Because now they're like, oh, okay, it is on me. You guys want the best for me. And now maybe you can help, they're not going to listen to everything you say, but at least I'm sure it opened the door for communication more than you realized. Of like, now I feel comfortable talking to my parents about these things because it is ultimately on me, but I do care about what they think or their opinion on things.
I actually think that's really cool that you brought that up because I think that you're right. I feel like the shift that happens is like, oh, my parents they trust me and my decisions because I think a lot of times when your kids don't feel like they can talk to you, it's because they don't trust that you think they're going to know anything. It's this whole thing of like, well, you're the kid, you don't know, like, and so saying that's what I thought when you made that comment is like, yeah, actually, I think it did because like both of our kids do know that we think their opinion is valuable and that they do know things and we can learn things from them too. And they have like, the guts to even say like, hey, you're not listening to me right now. Like Zoe did it to Heath just yesterday. She was trying to tell him something and he was doing something on his phone and she just was like, hey, excuse me, did you not hear me say that? And I think that's huge for our kids to be able to say that to us. We grew up kind of in a time that it's like, ooh, that's being disrespectful to an adult. No, that's helping us be better parents.
Yeah.
And that's helping them be better little adults.
Yeah, I mean, we've instilled that with Robin. I've told Robin like if I'm on my phone, if Daddy's on his phone, if you're trying to get our attention, say, "Hey, can I have your attention, please?"
Oh, yeah, he'll
And
tell
so
me to
he's-
get off my phone. Yeah.
Yeah, so already at 3, he's like, "No, I want your attention." And so that's huge. And even what you were saying with communication, we've been talking about that because I've been telling Miles, our son's really like big into always asking like, "Are you happy? Are you happy?"
Yeah.
And I've told Miles, I'm like, if you're not, don't lie to him. Don't make him feel like happy is the end all be all. Like, take it down to his age level for sure.
And try and explain it to him. Like right now, well, Dada's feeling this way. This is why. This is what's going on here. But yeah, he's constantly just like, are you happy? Like, are you okay? What are you feeling right now?
Huge.
Yeah.
That's huge though, because the thing is it's like kids can tell when you're that's a lie basically, like they can tell. And so if you're instilling in them to like, we don't know it, it's like parents might be thinking they're doing the right thing because you don't want your kid to worry about you. But if they're seeing, like they can take a version of it, like you said, an age appropriate version of it, and then they feel a part of it at his age, even younger, that they're like, oh, cool, okay.
Well, at that age, and the age that your kid is now, they're very intuitive with energy, right? Because that's all they really feel most of the time, because they're not being talked like a ton to, you know what I'm saying? Like as an adult, so they're feeling. I mean, since birth, right? Even when right now, your baby's feeling energy, so they know, when mom and dad aren't like, if they're not liking each other in a moment, or they're, they feel it, whether they hear the, whatever, the talk or the argument or whatever you do, but like the kid knows, they know what the energy of the house is. So to lie to them doesn't help the situation.
No, because then they're going to misconstrue what happy looks like.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And their
And
motivation to be happy as well. Yeah.
And it probably gives him, it gives him a lot of joy, I'm sure, to be able to be a part of your happiness and know about your sadness and maybe be able to comfort that. Because if you can be honest and be like, I'm not that happy right now, and then like maybe they give you a little hug and you're just like, you know what, that helped me. Like, what did that just do for him? And understanding that, like, oh my gosh, I could help an adult.
Yeah.
Like, huge. It's huge. I think that's a good point that you made there.
It's cool watching the empathy kick in. You know, it's not 24/7, but when it does, it's like, oh, like it's a very special moment.
Oh yeah.
So
absolutely. Well, we don't want to keep you guys too long. We do appreciate that y'all came on. This has been a fantastic conversation. For people watching and listening, why don't you shout out where they could follow you online and anything you got coming up you want to promote?
Heath Harmison Comedy, Harmison on TikTok. Well, Heath Harmison on everything else, basically. And then, I'm going to be performing at Wise Guys in Ogden in Utah, September 12th and 13th. So if you want to come see that, it's a family show. So I'll be doing a nice clean hour. Which has been a while since I've done just a solid family show. Even on cruise ships, it's only 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, and if you're a cruiser, I put out my schedule. There's a lot of ships. So
all the ships.
All the ships.
All the ships. At least for now. At least for now. Till me and Miles go and start selling out our theaters.
Yes.
It's going to happen.
I
We're
love that
manifesting
for you guys.
Absolutely. We're doing it, man. We're doing it. So we're going to keep our eye on the prize. Well,
love the 90s, by the way. Sorry. Love your 90s stuff you're doing, man.
Thanks, man. Much appreciated. Yes, that was a labor of love. So I appreciate, and as you being a funny fellow yourself, man, your praise means the world to me, man. So thank you very much, man. Absolutely. Hopefully we can see you guys in person sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Well, to any of you watching, listening, like, subscribe, share, sound off in the comments. Please don't be a dick. And let us know what you think and all that fun stuff. This has been the Two Tired Parents Podcast. I'm Miles Weber.
I'm Heather Weber.
And we'll see y'all next time.
Bye.